I'm Lauren, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself by telling you a little bit about who I am. First, I'd like to talk about three of my hobbies. My first hobby is theater. I really love to go to theater, and my husband and I see a lot of theater. We go to New York City a couple of times a year, and we have subscriptions to two different theaters in Chicago. So in the last couple of months, we've actually been to New York twice, and we're thinking about going again this summer with some friends of ours. Part of the reason we see so much theater is because our jobs require us to be familiar with current uh, artistic literature because we're speech and debate coaches at our respective community colleges. And probably right now my favorite show is Hamilton. I'm a tiny bit obsessed. My second hobby is that I really like to read, and I read a lot of different kinds of literature. I am currently reading Jenny Lawson's Furiously Happy, a book about her struggles with depression and bipolar disorder. It's a hilarious book, and I highly recommend it to anyone. My sister and I really like to read funny women writers, and sometimes we'll actually call each other on the phone and read funny pieces to each other. I also read a lot of prose and poetry, a lot of magazine articles, and all kinds of different literature. My third hobby is that I really like to travel. Because we're speech and debate coaches, my husband and I travel quite frequently during the year. We're gone somewhere between 45, 42 days a year on the road with our respective speech teams. So if you think about that, that's close to 6 weeks worth of travel. We also do some travel ourselves, and in fact, in January, we're going to be going to the Dominican Republic where a friend of ours is getting married. In addition to those hobbies, there are a couple of things that you might find interesting that you wouldn't know about me by looking at me. The first thing is that I really like woodland animals, and I have quite a collection of small animal type things. Right now, I'm a little obsessed with squirrels, and so my sister has given me a small collection. I have a favorite T-shirt that has a squirrel on it, and it's a squirrel pirate. I also really like pirates. Not something you would necessarily guess about me by looking at me. The second thing that I'd like you to know that you wouldn't know just by looking at me necessarily is that I'm pretty athletic. I really love to do physical activity. I love to bike. I do a lot of yoga. I love to swim. Right now I'm actually taking 3 exercise classes with an exercise partner at College of DuPage, a core class, a weight training class, and a yoga class. So I'm pretty athletic, although I never did any sports when I was younger. And then the third thing you might find interesting about me is that I'm Jewish. It's not something people usually guess about me, and often people, when I tell them that, will say, wow, you don't look Jewish. I'm not really sure what Jewish people look like, but apparently somebody thinks I don't look like one. And then the last thing I'd like to tell you is a little bit about my favorite quotation. This quotation is sometimes attributed to one of my personal heroes, Nelson Mandela, but it was actually developed by a woman named Marianne Williamson. And her quotation says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." And I really do believe that. I see a lot of students come into class very, very nervous about public speaking. And I think sometimes that fear is really based on either not knowing what your voice really is, and when I say voice, I don't just mean the physical voice, but the things that you want to say, or the fear of really letting out what you're thinking and being really powerful. So I hope that as we journey through this class together, you will be able to find your passions and the things that you want to say with your voice and let go of some of that fear. And that's just a little bit about me.